Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and yeah, today it's time for a different type of video. Like I mentioned in my previous top 5 of the month video, this is going to be sort of like a video response in a way to Lolazbasement's list or video where he showed off all of his Troma films in his collection. So I thought, well, I could do the same thing on a real what am I talking about? In a in a very own video, so to say. So I've got plenty of titles, but there's so many of these that I haven't seen yet. Because usually when I watch Troma films, I used to want to watch them with friends. So yeah, that's just my personal opinion, because I think that's a much more entertaining experience when you watch Troma films with friends, because you can always laugh at something in the films themselves. So yeah, but anyway, let's begin right away. So let's put up the first stack right here. And by the way, when I decided to make this video, I actually had to double check on IMDb, because some of these films I had no idea were actually Troma films. So I just basically went to IMDb and just checked for films produced or by Troma in any way. So yeah. So, oh sorry, if there's any of these titles that you know for certain this is not a Troma film, please let me know. So yeah. First up, we have the Toxic Avenger box set, which includes all 4 Toxic Avenger films. I've only seen the first 2 ones. I remember I liked part 2 more than part 1, but I'm probably in the minority with that one. So I probably need to rewatch the first one. Not heard too many good things about the third one, but I've heard really great things about part 4. So yeah, gonna be a blast to check those out. Then we have Monster in the Closet, another film which this might be one of the very first appearances by Paul Walker. Really kind of funny, like not. It's kind of funny and it's kind of harmless as well. It's not too horrifying or anything. It's more like a comedy in a way. So yeah. Then we have the awesome film Class of Nukem High. Damn, sorry, I need to. You can see what I'm talking about. Class of Nukem High, the first one. A big fan of this one. This is probably one of my favorite Troma films, along with Toxic Avenger Part 2 and Poltergeist. So yeah, but anyway, Class of Nukem High, can never go wrong with that. Then we have the sequels, not the sequel to the first one, but the sort of like the, not remakes either, but you kind of know what I mean. Return to Nukem High Volume 1. Yeah, and then Return to Nukem High Volume 2. Which I haven't seen yet. I've only seen the first one. The first one was really entertaining. Then we have Troma's War. Now this is really entertaining and really fun. Jungle action schlockiness. This is just really something that I really enjoy watching. This is such an amazing, not amazing, but really entertaining film. That's what I wanted to say. So, speaking of not so funny Troma film, the next one is called Combat Shock. Now this is just nihilistic and black, and it's just misery throughout the entire film. For those of you who've seen this film, you know what I'm talking about, and in particular the ending is just really gruesome. And I would also say that one of the things that I don't care too much about in this film is the soundtrack that gets a little bit repetitive after a while, but I think someone probably figured that out halfway through, so they didn't play that score or whatever any more longer than that. So yeah. Then we have the film called The Taint, which is probably one of my latest Troma films in my collection. I think this came out in 2014. Well, if you don't count the Return to Nukem Highs, this is probably the latest one in my collection. So yeah, The Taint. So we move on to the next stack. The next one is called Bloodhook. Not seen, but this cover art is really funny to me. And by the way, I'm not too sure if all of these films are completely uncut, because I have a feeling some of these really older Troma releases might be cut in some way, but yeah. Then we have Decapitated, really funny, low budget slasher type film. I know they kind of like, they compared this film with like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween, which is kind of funny because this is such a low budget film. But if I remember correctly, I really like the blood and splatter effects in this one. So yeah, Decapitated. Then we have another film called Parts of the Family. This might be this might have been the very last film I bought at Movie Line before they closed down. So yeah, I'll get to watch this eventually. So yeah, Parts of the Family. And then we have Redneck Zombies. This I think is shot on video, if I'm not completely wrong, but yeah, I'll have to look into that. Then we have Rabid Grannies, which I didn't care for at all. I thought it was really stupid and irritating, more stupid and irritating than funny. Even though I think this is supposed to be more funny or like comedic. So yeah, Rabid Grannies, might have to rewatch that one. Then we have Shopper Chicks in Zombie Town. Really classy title. If I remember correctly, I like the action bits in this one, but this storyline is a little bit so-so. Overall, kind of funny, pretty funny, so yeah. Speaking of funny films with funny titles, the next one is called Surf Nazis Must Die. This one is really funny. The hero character in this, she is really amazing. If you've seen the film, you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Surf Nazis Must Die. And actually, I had a little fun story about this. One of my friends, he actually knows one of the actors that appear in this film. I'm not too sure what type of role he has. I think it was a very minor role. I think he played like some sort of surfer dude or something. So I thought that was really funny. So, but anyway, Surf Nazis Must Die. Then we have Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, which I haven't seen yet. I've heard this has some similarities with Toxic Avenger in a way. This guy going around solving crime, I believe. Yeah, need to watch this one ASAP. Then we have Cannibal the Musical, which I think is really entertaining, but I think it's slightly overrated, even though I really enjoyed this, because this has like 7.1 or something on IMDb right now, which I think is a little bit too much. But still, this is still a really entertaining film. And like you can probably tell, but because of the title, Cannibal the Musical, it's a musical. My favorite song in this entire film is the guy singing about his precious horse. I think that's just such a funny, stupid thing. So, but it's still entertaining though. Then we have probably my favorite Troma film, to be honest. Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. I've seen this so many times already. Never get tired of it. Love the humor, love the splatter, love the gore. What's there not to like about this one? And even though this is like a musical, I'm usually not a big fan of musicals in general. There isn't too many songs in this, at least not the last half of the film. And the songs that are there before, they are not annoying or anything like that. They're actually pretty damn catchy and really hilarious. So yeah, Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. Then we have a women in prison film, which I think was produced by Troma as well, and the movie is called Escape from Hell. I think this might have some other titles as well. Can't really... I think it's an Italian title or something, Spanish title, which I'm not going to even try to pronounce, but this came out in 1980, so yeah. Then the next one is another one which has been on my watch list for quite some time. Not seen it yet though. I've heard some really gruesome things about it. The movie is called Blood-Sucking Freaks. Yeah. Now let's continue. The next one is also a musical, I believe, called Mr. Briggs. Yeah, also a fairly new film, 2011, so yeah. And the next one is actually a film directed by Lucio Fulci, who would have known. New Gladiators, which I still haven't seen yet, but yeah. Then we have this one. I also had no idea was a Troma film up until I actually looked it up on IMDb, but Skeleton Coast. Don't let yourself get fooled by Oliver Reed on the front cover. He has a very... I pointed at Ernest Borgnine. Oliver Reed. He has a very small role in this one, so don't get yourself get fooled by the cover art. But Ernest Borgnine is really amazing, and Robert Vaughn plays a great bad guy in this one as well. So yeah, Skeleton Coast, really hilarious action romp from the 80s. And then we have a fairly new film in my collection. Film not fairly new as in new, but like new to the collection. Twisted Justice, directed by David Heavener, I believe his name is. Yeah. This one I always wanted to see because... I've not seen it yet though, but I've always wanted to see this because of Clint Howard, and also this storyline sounded really interesting to me. Merchants of Death. I think this is also known as Born or something, which is a really strange title, but yeah, about some people stealing organs or kidneys or something, I believe. Then we have a horror drama type deal, I believe. Film called No Way Back. Yeah. And the next one is a film called Screenplay. Really hilarious and funny cover on that one. And the next one is, this one is really underrated in my opinion. I laughed my ass off while I watched this with a couple of friends, and I just thought, well, I need to get this film. The film is called Frostbiter. Such a funny film, great splatter effects and really funny songs as well. I mean, I could say that some of the soundtrack or the songs in this film just feels incredibly out of place, and that's what makes it so funny. So if you haven't seen this one, check this one out, Frostbiter. I think it's known as something else as well, but I can't remember it right now. Yeah, the next one is called Alien Blood from the late 90s. Not seen, but heard some really horrible things about it. And then we have Maniac Nurses Find Ecstasy. I think, yeah, Ecstasy, yeah. Really clever title. And then we have a film about a killer lawnmower, which I still haven't seen yet, but the film is called Blades, sorry. Really funny cover on that one as well. And then we have a late 90s Troma film called Sucker the Vampire. Yeah. And then we have Luther the Geek. Yeah. And then we have a film called Pigs. I think this is known as something else as well. I think it's like Daddy's Little Daughter or something. Daddy's Deadly Darling, that's the other title, yeah. Not seen this one yet, but about like flesh-eating pigs or something. And then the next one is, oh damn, this is correct, but you need to replace that. Igor and the Lunatics. This is what a terrible cover art. It's my personal opinion though. And the next one I believe is a women in prison film. This cover art is, I'm not sure if I'm gonna hate it or love it, but yeah, judge for yourself. The film is called Lust for Freedom. This looks like some weird cartoon. This doesn't say women in prison at all if you just look at the cover, in my opinion. But yeah, Lust for Freedom. Oh boy, the next one is really entertaining and really fun, especially the last 20-25 minutes. Beware, Children at Play. If you've seen this film, you know what I'm talking about. The ending is just a big old massacre. Not for the faint of heart, definitely, but yeah. I actually think they actually have, yeah. This film contains scenes of extremely graphic nature and should not be viewed by pregnant women or people with heart conditions. You've been warned. Still, though, I would say Combat Shock is way worse than the Beware Children at Play. And then we have probably one of the earliest Troma films. The film is called Cry Uncle. Yeah, not seen yet though. And then we have Hellblock 13, which has Deborah Rochon and Gunnar Hansen in it, I believe. Yeah, Gunnar Hansen. This is an anthology film. Another one which I haven't seen, so. And then we have this one. This was slightly disappointing to me. This is like a slasher film from the 80s. That's really the main reason why I picked it up. And then I realized also that this is like a Troma film. Girls' School Screamers. Really forgettable in my personal opinion. Didn't care too much for this one. Only watch it if you're a die-hard fan of Troma or slasher films from the 80s in general. Otherwise, you could skip it. Then we have a film called Dr. Hackenstein. Maybe some spoof on Frankenstein, I'm not really sure, but this was released in the late 80s, so yeah. Then we have the next one, which is probably my... This one I remember I just didn't care for at all. This might be another one of those that I really need to rewatch, but Terror Firmer. There's some great splatter and gore effects in this one, but it's just too long and it just never ends. It's just about a bunch of people screaming all the time. Which is unfortunate because I really love the effects in this one. So, but yeah, Terror Firmer, it is what it is. The next one is really entertaining though. Romeo and Juliet. Pretty fun, really much sleaze in this one as well, if I remember correctly. So yeah, Romeo and Juliet. And now we're off to the last stack. A a nymphoid barbarian in dinosaur hell. This is truly atrocious. I'm not really sure why I even bought this. I think I got it for like $2 or something, which is next to nothing. So I thought, well, it's a Troma film. Might have to watch it and appreciate it more. From what I remember from this one, this was really bad. But then again, might need to rewatch it and find another appreciation for it. Then we have another anthology film called Shillers. Not seen this one yet. So this is from the 80s. And oh my god, this was dusty. Probably been right up on my shelf somewhere that I haven't even thought about. So the next one is called Nightmare Weekend. Another one which has a great cover art, but I have heard some really atrocious things about it. And then we have Mother's Day, which I also have the 88 Films release of this one, but this was the closest release I had in the shelf that I could put out. I remember I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, great Troma film. The next one is a little bit weird, or I would say the last films right here are a little bit weird, because according to IMDb, Troma was involved in some way or another with these films, so that's the reason why I included these. If I'm wrong about this one, please let me know. So the next one is Christmas Evil. Those of you who've seen this film, you know what type of film it is. I mean, it looks more like it's supposed to be like a slasher, but it's definitely more of a character study than anything else. And it's pretty depressing as well. But overall, though, really entertaining. And this one, I remember I didn't care too much for the first time I watched it, and then I rewatched it, and I actually appreciated it a little bit more. So if you're not a big fan of this film the first time around, give it a second go, and you might enjoy it more. So yeah, Christmas Evil. Then the next one is a film called Shadows Run Black, some really low budget slasher film from the mid 80s, and this has Kevin Costner in it, which is really strange. So yeah. And then we have this one, Splatter University, really incredibly stupid and annoying. I think there was something that was really annoying about this one. If it was a killer or the kills, or there was something that I had an issue with this film. I think it might be the narrator on the trailer. That's the only thing that I remember from this film. But it's an alright film. Only watch it if you're a fan of slasher films from the 80s, though. And then we have Graduation Day. This one is another one of those that I didn't care too much for the first time, and then I found a new appreciation for it after watching it. Pretty fun slasher film. And the last one, believe it or not, this is actually also a Troma film, at least according to the back of this DVD. The film is called Death by Temptation, with Samuel L. Jackson. Apparently he doesn't really have that big role in it, but this is directed and produced. It's written, directed, and produced by a guy called James Bond III. That in itself is really strange. So yeah. So that's my entire Troma collection as of right now. Yeah, I'm not too sure, like I said in the beginning of the video, some of these might not really be Troma films, but according to IMDb, they are in some way or another. So, like I said before, I might have had some mistake in that. I might have missed out on one or two films in the collection that I haven't noticed or something. That's always the case when I make these type of videos, but did my best with the video. So yeah, keep your eyes open for the next video, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.